Time for a good old-fashioned cliche here from round 6 of Monster Energy Supercross for 2019. It is freezing cold outside here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Oh, but the action on the track was so hot. That is such a tired phrase to use to cover racing, but it really was cold outside. I'm wearing like 9 layers, and the racing on the track was phenomenal. Let's recap round 6, brought to you by the good folks at Racetech. This is a box with gold valves in it, and we are going to give you a set. Links in the bio, kids, or in the description of this video on YouTube. So go email them and you have a chance to win gold valves, plusher but better bottoming resistance, and more traction, and everything made and designed right here in the USA. So thanks to Racetech for backing these videos. And thanks for the riders of the 450 class of Monster Energy Supercross for keeping this exciting. This has to be a record. We have 4 riders within 2 points at the top of the standings. Although if you look at the win column, one rider seems to be edging ahead. Cooper Webb does it again, avenging the endo in the mud last weekend at San Diego, and wins his 3rd race of the season. So he's won half the races, but it's not even in the points lead. The continued consistency of Ken Roczen gives him the red place for the 2nd time this year. But the points, as close as they are, that wasn't even as tight as the racing on the track. This was phenomenal tonight, and it started with Joey Savacci and the Monster Energy Kawasaki getting the whole shot. He and Webb, old rivals from the 250 days, went at it quite a bit on the first lap, but Savacci was able to lock the lead down. And this is a strange situation. You'd always think the track that has the most opportunity for passing is going to lead to the best racing. It was actually the opposite tonight. Savacci was riding just well enough where Webb couldn't get around him. Roczen was riding just well enough. He was right on Webb, but couldn't make the pass there. You had Justin Brayton in the mix, Blake Baggett, Marvin Musquin. You had 6 riders who all had a shot to maybe win this race, but no one could find a spot to make a pass. And maybe they were a little bit quicker than Savacci, but they couldn't get around him, so they stacked up a 6-pack up front. And finally, Savacci, who was making some mistakes on a far rhythm lane, but was still quick enough to hold Webb off, finally one of the mistakes was too big, and Webb made the pass, and Webb was able to pull away from there. But it still took everything that Roczen and Baggett and Musquin had to get around Savacci, who was riding very well. He was actually fastest in qualifying today, to get around him. Roczen eventually makes the pass. By then, Webb was too far gone for Roczen to do anything about it. He had to settle for 2nd. And then finally, one really big mistake from Savacci opened the door for both Baggett and Musquin to get around him. But then seconds later, Baggett, in a rhythm lane that was getting really cupped out and really rugged, made a mistake and went down hard. I think he's okay, but his race was run, and that's a big points loss for Baggett. Musquin would hold on for 3rd. And just when someone seems like they're going to grab momentum in this series, you never know how it's going to end, because Eli Tomac started terribly in this one. Last week's winner was 16th on the first lap. He came back through traffic and salvaged some points, but it wasn't what he wanted with 6th place. That's it, Monster Energy Supercross from Minneapolis. I think it's going to be a little warmer outside of Dallas and Arlington, Texas next weekend. Be there, because this season, seriously, is historically close right now. Thanks to Racetech for backing our videos. Try to win yourself a set of gold valves. See you next week.